Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is CINCINNATI, Israel. We thank you for joining us today. It is July the 20th, and we are 30 days away from the fulfillment of a 5,000-year-old prophecy, the prophecy that was spoken in Genesis 15:13, that the Most High gave to Abraham. He told him that we would be in a land that was not ours, a land that for 400 years, that we would be afflicted for 400 years, and then afterwards, that nation, it would be judged, and we would come out with great substance. And we've been talking about that. You're entering into a class that is already in session, but we wanted to take some time and to share the excitement with you, how happy we are just to be alive for such a time as this. You know, that we never thought we'd be able to see it. Most of us have sat in church as they prayed and they've shouted and they've talked about the end times and how beautiful it's going to be when the saints are collected and all that good stuff. And then the Most High woke us up to this, and we want to share it with you today. So I just wanted to say shalom, shalom to everyone. We are going back into our session where we were. We were talking about the third person of the Godhead, but we had to establish some things. The first lesson was about how Yah had chosen a people for himself, and the other nations he had granted them their own gods. And we talked about in the second section of this teaching, we also talked about how he had given us his name, and that he gave his name unto Jacob, and all of that good stuff. So we are definitely in the process of going into the next phase of it, because we have to talk about the other gods. And the reason why we decided to do this today is because we realize there's a lot of people that are waking up, especially in the Christian church. And they have part of the scriptures that they preach is partly right, but they leave out a certain part that we felt like was necessary, that it had to be brought forward. Because yes, we know we're Israelites, and yes, we know we're the people, and yes, we know we're in captivity, and yes, we know about the 400 years, but nobody really goes into why we went into captivity and what happened to us as a people and how we ended up in this condition that we're in, and what we did to the Most High and what our punishment, our penalty phase was. So we have to go into that part, because they're leaving some things out. And when you leave things out, you don't get the whole full picture. So we just want to be able to make sure that everybody gets the full picture and to be able to understand where we are. So we're going into the penalty phase of this thing, because, you know, one of the things about the curse was that he told us we was going to be made to serve other gods of wood and stone in the land of our captivity. And that we're going to be in this land, and he called them heathens. He said, among the heathens. He called them heathens and enemies. He said, I'm going to send you to the land of the heathens. I'm going to send you into a land among your enemies. He said, and there you will be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. And you know, we have to be able to bring this in, because a lot of people are becoming conscious, but they're holding on to the Roman version of Christianity. They're holding on to that teaching that they got. They're trying to make it fit. And I'm here to tell you, it just don't fit. It don't fit. But we got to show you in the Word so that you understand. Because one thing that we realize is that he didn't know any other nation. He said, you only have I known out of all the families of the earth. He said, no other nation have I known. But when we came here, we're in the land of our captivity. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't want to accept the fact that they're in a land of their captivity. But in order for you to accept that, you got to accept the fact that your ancestors came here as slaves. They came as slaves. And I'm going to make the announcement again. If you just called, please put your phone on mute. If you have noise in the background, I would appreciate it. Nobody wants to accept the fact that they're still slaves. They don't want to accept it. They don't want to go to that, well, I'm not a slave. I come and go when I want to. I'm not a slave. I'm not. You know. And my question to you is this. If you're not a slave, and I want you to, the mics are open, and we got people on here from all over the world. And if you're not a slave, I would like for you to answer me one question. What nation are you originally from? I'm talking to the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. What nation are you originally from? Some people will say, well, we're from Africa. Africa is a continent.
Israel.
No, I'm not talking about what you know. I'm talking about before this. What nation were you originally from? Before you came into the knowledge that we was from Israel. To the people who are not completely fully awake. What nation are you originally from?
They said Negroes or Africa, but that's I have a problem with that.
Exactly, because Africa's a continent.
Exactly.
So we have to understand, that as free as you are, you have no particular place that you can go back to today and say, this is where my ancestors are from, and I can trace my ancestors all the way back here, and I have history, geographical history that says that this is where we're from. Even Israel, if you go back to Israel today, because some people say Israel, you can't go back to Israel right now and say this is our land. Somebody else is living on it. Somebody else is enjoying it. Somebody else has taken it over, and somebody else is proclaiming to be the original people from there. And some people say, well, you never talk about them. There's no reason to. Because like I said, you got to look at the book like a play. It's like the Most High wrote a play. And the reason why, and he wrote the play, and he created the characters. And he chose a group of people for himself. And every time there's a new generation, the curtain goes up and the curtain goes down. And everybody that was born will play their part. So I talk about us because we've got to get Israel ready to go to the next phase. So I decided to do the what, when, where, why, and who. That's what I decided to do. Any questions? Anybody have a comment? Anybody new that might want to say something at this point? Nobody? Oh, somebody got to be able to say something. Very important that we come up with this. It is very important that we have an understanding about this, because this is going to be the beginning of where we are and how we got here. And this is what we need to do right now, is to understand what is going on. So we have the objective. So we're going to keep moving down, and here we go. I hope you guys can see the screen. All right, in the penalty phase, and we're going to go through the warning. Because one thing about Yah will never penalize you and not warn you first. He's not that type of Elohim. Israel was very patient, he was very loving, and he warned us. So I want you to get paper and pencil. So first we're going to deal with the who. We got to find out who this is talking about and what it's talking about. So we're going to deal with the who first. Get some paper and pencil so you can write these scriptures down and you will have them. We're going to start at Deuteronomy chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 6. And we're going to move through this, and we're going to move through this fairly quickly, and I'm going to ask the questions if you have any questions. If you guys would do me the courtesy and try not to interrupt until we ask that question, it makes it a lot easier for the people to follow through. I know we're excited. We're ready to be able to give our point of view, but if you could be so kind as to do that, I would appreciate it. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. He said, "For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy Elohim. The Most High thy Elohim has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth." So that sets Israel aside. Israel is his people that he chose for himself, and we were above all the people on the face of the earth. I know that's difficult to believe because you're looking around at your situation saying, I don't feel the love. I'm living in the projects. I ain't got no food to eat. I don't have no job. I don't have nowhere to go, but I'm going to get to that. We're on our way there because we have to understand why we're here in this condition that we're living in. Verse 7. It said, the Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Most High loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers. Last week we talked about the oath. We talked about how he introduced himself to three people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that he told him, if you obey, I'll be your God. You're going to deliver kings that are going to come out of your loins. If you do what I tell you to do, I'm going to be your God, and those people are going to be my people. And I swore oath that I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to give you a land. I'm going to give you the land of Canaan, and it's going to be your land. And this is what I swore unto thy fathers. Hold on, right here we go. Have the Most High brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. He said, know thou therefore that the Most High thy Elohim, he is Yah, the faithful Yah, which keepeth covenant and mercy to them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repay them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hate him. He will repay him to his face. The Most High said, if you trust me, I got you. But if you treat me wrong and you do me wrong, I'm going to repay you face to face. I'm going to let you know it's me. I ain't going to let nobody trick you into thinking it was something wrong that was done unto you. I'm going to clear the fact that I'm going to let you know that this was me. Here we go. He said, thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes, the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Now, this is the problem, because today we have people that are waking up in the Christian church, and they telling these Hebrew Israelites, you ain't got to keep the law. But we're going to keep on going, because we're going to deal with that. He said, wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Most High thy Elohim shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy father. He said, and he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, and thy wine and thy oil, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. That's the land of Canaan. He said, thou shalt be blessed above all people. Now listen what he says. He said, there shall not be a male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the Most High will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. And thou shalt consume all the people, which the Most High thy Elohim shall deliver thee. Thy eyes shall have no pity on them. He said, not only am I going to put you above everybody, but everybody that I send your way, and I tell you to get rid of, you will get rid of. Watch what he says. Neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. Now, he warning you now. He said, now, don't serve their gods, because if you do, this is where we're going to have a problem. Watch what he says. If thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispose them? Watch what he says. Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Most High, thy Elohim, did unto Pharaoh and unto Egypt. He said, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs, and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm. He said, whereby the Most High thy Elohim brought thee out, so shall the Most High thy Elohim do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Moreover, the Most High thy Elohim will send the hornet among them, until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed. And thou shalt not be frightened anymore, frightened at them, for the Most High thy Elohim is among you, a mighty Elohim and terrible. And the Most High thy Elohim will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Most High thy Elohim shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings into thy hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. And there shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou hast destroyed them. He said, the graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or the gold that is on them. He said, don't even take the gold and the silver. He said, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Most High thy Elohim. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, which means hate it, for it is a cursed thing. Any questions at all whatsoever? Any comments? No? All right, let's keep going. As we got to understand, he said, don't serve their gods. He said, I'm going to put you above everybody. You're going to have more than everybody because you my people. And I'm going to bring people in before you that I want you to get rid of. He said, I'm going to bring their kings before you get rid of them. I'm going to do those things for you. Everything you touch, going to bless. There'll be no barren of men or women among you. They shall be blessed. Even your animals shall be blessed. He said, but if you touch that thing that you shall not touch, it shall be a curse unto thee. Watch what he says. We keeping it moving. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2. And this may just be this one scripture. He said, for thou art a holy people unto the Most High thy Elohim, and the Most High has chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. Do you realize how important we are? Some people say, I can't see it, Yaina. I'm in captivity. I don't understand it. I don't even have a job. I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that we his people. It's difficult because I'm sick. I don't feel good. Most of the time I don't feel like doing nothing. I don't understand all this love you're talking about. It's not registering. Watch. Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 16. This day the Most High thy Elohim has commanded thee to do these statutes and judgments. Thou shalt therefore keep and do them with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Thou hast avouched the Most High this day to be thy Elohim, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice. He said, thou hast accepted the terms. This is where they're making a contract with the Most High in the wilderness. He said, thou hast accepted the terms, and you decided to obey, and you decided to do his will and his commandments and judgments. Watch. And the Most High has avouched thee this day to be his peculiar people, as he has promised thee that thou shouldest keep all his commandments, and to make thee high above all nations which he has made, in praise and in name and in honor, that thou mayest be a holy people unto the Most High thy Elohim, as he has spoken. So Israel was never supposed to be poor. We was never supposed to be on food stamps. We was never supposed to be on Social Security. We was never supposed to sit in our TV and watch another nation ride around in gold carriages and be led by armed soldiers and horses. We was never supposed to be the spectator. We were supposed to be the people. You were supposed to have no retirement. We were supposed to be rich beyond our compare, wealthy because the Most High was with us. We were supposed to be above every nation on this earth because he made it that way. We were never supposed to be sick. We were supposed to be a nation to be revered. People were supposed to look at us and envy us because of who we were and whose we were. Watch. 2 Samuel chapter 7. And I can go through the whole Old Testament and walk you through everything, but we would be here for a couple days, and I didn't want to do that. But I'm going to take you through just a few verses. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 18. Now, this is King David speaking. And watch what he says. He says, then went King David in and sat before the Most High, and he said, who am I, O Most High Elohim, and what is my house that thou hast brought me hitherto? And this was yet a small thing in thy sight, O Most High Elohim, but thou hast spoken also of thy servant's house for a great while to come. And is this the manner of man, O Most High Elohim? He said, and what can we say more unto thee? For thou, Most High Elohim, knoweth thy servant. For thy word's sake, and according to thy own heart, hast thou done all these great things to make thy servant know them. Wherefore thou art great, O Most High Elohim, for there is none like thee, neither is there any Elohim beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom Israel went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt and from nations and their gods? Oh, so he took us out from the nation and their gods. Watch what he said. For thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever, and thou, Most High, art become their Elohim. Any questions?
I have something to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that it's been bothering me for most of this year that, let me say it like this, because it's been given to me. I don't always speak eloquently, but I'm just going to put it out there. The house of David will always have a sword against each other. I really got to put it out there. Okay, they sent some of the Negroes back to Africa. They're sending the Latino people back to their country. I want to. They're going to search every hole and every crevice, as the scriptures say, to get these people up out of here, because this is a land that's not our own, which proves to us that the Latino people are part of Israel. Now, I know some people would say that we didn't, our men did not sleep with other nations, but you know that's not correct. Black men's always been the prize for every woman practically on earth. They've been hard workers. They've been strong. They bring a force like no other man. So I just want to see, they're going to take these people and they're going to search for them in every hole and every crevice, which proves to us that they are part of Israel. And I guarantee you that this Antichrist character, that this man is going to be Israel, but I'm going to tell you that I believe he's coming out of that section of Israel, because I see the people, I work with the people, I have family in the people, and there's a certain, everything they said about it, he's coming out of a people that don't have any respect for the old or elderly, and they, in other words, they have a fierce character about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming through that section. It's coming through that part of Israel. But he's got something to prove to us as a people, that these people are a part of us. And we don't want to, a lot of us don't want to accept them, but I'm telling you, that's part of Israel. Remember.
Okay, well, I tell you what, hold that until we get finished, and we'll go. I definitely want to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just, when I ask if we have any questions, try to stay on topic, because we have a lot of new people on the line, and I don't want them to get confused. Anybody have any questions to what I just read? All right, let's keep it moving. Now we're getting ready to go into the curse thing. What happened? Because a lot of people don't understand what happened. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question, but a comment. With those verses you read, it was beautiful, but it just shows that we have a special relationship with Yah that no one else has.
No one else has. We've been chosen, but we did something. Watch. What? Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. It's going to get interesting now. It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thine elders, and they will tell thee. Watch. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Most High's portion is his people, and Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Here we go. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste-howling wilderness, he led him about, and he instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. And a lot of people say, well, what does she mean when Brother Doniah be talking about the apple of his eye? It's like that's what he said. We are the apple of his eye, the Most High's eye. And this is who we are. Hold on one moment. Any questions? All right, here we go. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Most High alone did lead him, and there was no strange Elohim with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the field. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and the milk of sheep, with the fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Elohim, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So he went against Yah. Watch. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, and not to Elohim, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Out of the rock that begot thee thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Israel that formed thee. And when the Most High saw it, he hated them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with the foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. And I will heap mischief upon them. I will send my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with the burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling, which is the baby, also the man of gray hairs, which is the elder. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So for the most part, if you weren't in the upper echelons of those governments in Psalms 83, you didn't know who we were. That's why people say, okay, so now you guys claiming to be the Israelites. But 1 minute you African and the next minute you supposed to be Israelites. But the Most High said, and I said, I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men, lest they should say, our hand is high. And the Most High has not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, and that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Most High has shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judged. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the thing that shall come upon them make haste. For the Most High shall judge his people, and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifice, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. He said, let them rise up and help you. Let them protect you. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no Elohim with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. Any questions at all whatsoever? We did something.
I have a question.
Yes,
when earlier in the chapter, it mentioned Jeshurun. Is that Israel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We messed up. We was the apple of his eye.
Very
the chosen people.
Very much so.
Big time.
It also says that the people, I guess maybe the average person wouldn't remember who we were either. You know, but I feel that they do. They know who we are. I think it's a secret that they know that, of course, they would never tell us. But I think
now they do because it's come out. And it may be a verbal word that was spread it around. But as a result, like the whole world, now they know, yeah. And then some of them knew before. Some of them knew, but not as a whole. Because you got to think about it. 1948, they set up the nation state of Israel. The whole world was watching. My mom told me, I said, who are those people that are so black? She said, those are the Jews, honey. So we didn't know. We didn't even know who we were.
Oh, of course we didn't.
No. And when now she'd be like, that's all we knew. I just taught you what I knew. Any more questions? All right, we're going into the rebellion phase. We're still talking about the penalty. Now we're going into the rebellion. When did this happen? Watch, Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 7th year, in the 5th month, the 10th day of the month, that certain of the elders of Israel came to inquire of the Most High and sat before me. Then came the word of the Most High unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto the elders of Israel, and say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Elohim, Are ye come to inquire of me? As I live, saith the Most High Elohim, I will not be inquired of by you. Wilt thou judge them, son of man? Wilt thou judge them? Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers. And say unto them, thus saith the Most High Elohim, in the day when I chose Israel and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob. Watch. And made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt, when I lifted up my hand unto them, saying, I am the Most High, your Elohim. In the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth out of the land of Egypt, into a land that I had espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. Then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am the Most High, your Elohim. But they rebelled against me, and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away the abomination of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt. But I wrath, he said, I held back for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, in bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt. He said, I was getting ready to tear them up then, but I stopped myself. Hold on, you guys, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Are you there? Hello?
Yeah, she's still here. She asked us to hold on. She'll be right back.
While she stepped away, I want to ask a question. Is it all right?
I'm sorry about that. I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. All right, so it says, wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt and brought them into the wilderness. And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgments, which, if a man do, he shall even live in them. Moreover also, I gave them my Sabbaths, to be a sign between me and them, that they may know that I am the Most High that sanctify them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgments, which, if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Sabbaths they greatly polluted. Then I said I would pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. He was going to do them in the wilderness. So he was going to get rid of them in Egypt. But then he said, I'm going to hold back. I'm going to bring them to the wilderness. And then they still messed up in the wilderness. Watch. But I wrath, he said, I held back for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen in whose sight I brought them out. Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. Because they despised my judgments and walked not in my statutes, but polluted my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols. Nevertheless, mine eye spared them from destroying them, neither did I make an end of them in the wilderness. But I said unto their children in the wilderness, walk ye not in the statutes of your fathers, neither observe their judgments, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am the Most High your Elohim. Walk in my statutes, and keep my judgments, and do them. And hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am the Most High your Elohim. Notwithstanding, the children rebelled against me. They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them, which, if a man do, he shall even live in them. Can you please put your phone on mute? I think you're in the car or something. We can hear that sound. Thank you. Well, I know it's some music in the background. Can you please mute your phone? I'm sorry about that, you guys. That's why I try not to mute everybody. I really do. I try not to, but situations like this. Okay, here we go. All right, let's pull this back up here. Okay. Let's do it. All right. He said, notwithstanding the children rebelled against me. They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. They polluted my Sabbaths. Then I said, I would pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. Nevertheless, I withdrew my hand and wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth. I lifted up my hand unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathens and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes and had polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good, and judgments whereby they should not live. And I polluted them in their own gift. He did this, in that they caused to pass through the fire all that open the womb, that I may make them desolate, to the end that they may know that I am the Most High. Therefore, Son of Man, speak unto the house of Israel, and say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Elohim, Yet in this your fathers have blasphemed me, and they have committed a trespass against me. For when I brought them into the land, for the which I lifted up my hand to give it to them, then they saw every high hill and all thick trees, and they offered their sacrifices. And there they presented the provocation of their offerings. There also they made their sweet savor and poured out their drink offering. Then I said unto them, What is the high place whereunto ye go? And the name whereof is called Bama unto this day. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Most High Elohim, Are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations? For when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, ye pollute yourselves with all your idols, even unto this day. And shall I be inquired of you, O house of Israel? As I live, saith the Most High Elohim, I will not be inquired of by you. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all that ye say, We will be as the heathens, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. Any questions?
Yes, Sister Yana, what do you...
Go ahead.
This is just confirmation. He talks about his namesake. What does that mean?
That because of who he was, he came in and showed himself, and he told him that he was Israel and he was our God, and we didn't take it to heart. So guess what? We messed up in Egypt. This started in Egypt. We messed up in Egypt. Then he was going to do us in Egypt, and he said, I'm going to hold back. For my namesake, I'm not going to make myself look bad. I'm going to make sure I could, because I presented myself to them among the heathens. He said, I was going to kill them then, but I held back. He said, and then I took them on to the wilderness, and they showed out in the wilderness. He said, I wanted to take them out then, but because of my namesake, because all the nations was watching, because of all of the mighty signs and wonders, I held back. He said, and then the ones that did make it into the land, they showed out too.
Well, the reason why I said that is because it says those the people for the people that are called by my name. When you say the people that are called by my name, that means that his name was Israel, and the namesake is Israel.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And you're more 100% right. You're absolutely right.
When he talks about his namesake, he's talking about the people that are called by my name, Israel.
Mm-hmm. And his name.
That is his name.
That is his name. Yeah, sure is.
I agree.
That's
I agree with that statement.
That's right.
All praises, all praises.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, that, it just dawned on me. I was, I've read this 1,000 times, if not more. You understand? And when he talks about namesake, it didn't dawn on me that he's talking about his people who was called by his name.
Yes, hallelujah.
That's powerful. Hallelujah.
Yes, hallelujah. Anybody else?
Yes,
ma'am. When he said polluted his Sabbath, does that mean they kept the Sabbath, or does it mean they didn't keep it? Did they keep it?
Both. I think they didn't keep it, and they didn't keep it right.
That is correct.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Because some people still don't keep it right. Some people watch movies and all kind of stuff. This is supposed to be his day, that you spend time. That's why we have class on the Sabbath, so we can come together and have a holy convocation and spend some time talking about the Most High, in the Scriptures. There's nothing wrong with watching like a Bible something on, because I always watch like the story of Abraham, the story of Isaac, and when I'm on the Sabbath, I make sure I try to do that, because you got to do something to pass the time away and pray and read the Scriptures. But some people be washing their cars on you ain't supposed to do all that.
That is correct.
And now most of the kids can't play sports, our children, because it's on the Sabbath day. They playing sports and practicing on it. They deliberately have defiled it. Anybody else?
I just want to say, like Brother Adonia was saying, my namesake, that's like a father saying, that's mine right there. Like he takes ownership over that child. That's his seed. Yes.
Hallelujah. Absolutely.
So that's why he wants us to take on his character.
Yeah.
His name is his character.
Absolutely. And we messed up. We messed up big time. So, he looked at it for as long as he could. And, we had to go through this stage.
So what got to me was that they were sending their children through the fires of Moloch. And doing other things that were an abomination. Yeah. And they learned those things from, not only from Egypt, but also from the other nations. They wanted to be like them.
Yep, sure did. They sure did want to be like the other nations.
It's the same thing also here, in America as well as around the world, but especially here. They put out so much junk on the TV, the books, the radio, the internet, every form of communication. Is always about, first of all, sex. Then it's about drugs and talking back to your parents or whatever it is that is not of Yah's character. And then when we adopt that, we are not being his people.
That's right. Well, yeah, but you know what? That's true. But then that's when we come into the next phase, because he said you're going to be made to serve other gods.
Right.
I don't think
this is where you want to be, and you want to be like them. I'm going to put you with them so that you'll be able, because you see, what we got to realize is this. The only thing that they can teach us is about their God. They cannot teach us about Yah. He said, no other nation have I known. So they can't teach you about him.
Right. That's why they hid the books the way that they did. That's why they teach us the way that they do. Because when we go on and we learn their ways about who Yah is, or of course God, because they don't even call him Yah or even Israel or even Yeshua. They call him Jesus, or they call him Lord, or they call him God. So it's basically an ambiguous person.
Absolutely. And get mad at you. And the Christian will get mad at you. This ain't nobody like the blood of Jesus. Jesus is his name. And the scripture says clearly, if my people who are called by my name. will humble themselves and pray and seek my face.
I was a Gentile then, and she got upset with me. She was a Christian Gentile, and she got upset. She kept saying, Jesus, I'm gonna call upon Jesus. I said, well, you go right on ahead.
Right, but they can only teach you. But guess what? They can only teach you what they know.
Right.
They can only teach that. And some people will say, well, it's in the book. Well, it's a lot of things in the book. Easter is in the book. But we know it wasn't no Easter. That was Passover. It's a lot of things in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Yang,
they changed it. They took stuff out and they put stuff back in. They
talking now. Listen to them talking. You got that right.
They got a museum that cave Bible. They said they took 100% out of, not 100%, what was it, 50% out of the New Testament and I don't know, it was a greater percentage out of the Old Testament. They're saying that.
Well, you know why they're saying this now is because guess what? They don't want you to read it. They don't want you to read it because even if they did, it's still enough in there for us to find out who we are, what we did, and where we going.
Well,
so now they getting ready to. They're gonna try to vilify the book now to make it seem like it's unsubstantiated because they don't never wanted you to come into that knowledge because it doesn't include them.
I didn't. You know what? This is what I thought. When I came to the conclusion, that means that the Holy Spirit got to really, really work with me when I'm reading with that. I really got to be right with everything when I approach that Bible because I need to see.
Well, guess what? I don't have no problem with it. It's very natural and clear to me. One thing about it, y'all left enough in there for us exactly to be able to find ourselves and to be able to say, because guess what? The whole Old Testament is about y'all complaining or Israel complaining about what we did or did not do. And to send all of the prophets. Matter of fact, I'm going to get into that. I'm getting ready to get into every prophet that he gave a word to tell them, I'm punishing you for this, and I'm punishing you for that. And this is what I'm going to do to you because you did this and that and the other. So, you know, as much as we don't have in there, that's all we got. Because if they present another book with more information, you best believe they're going to do something to try to include themselves in there.
Yeah, I always do.
The confirmation is that his namesake, when he says, that means the people that are called by his name. His name was Israel. And so his namesake is us, his Israel.
His Israel, absolutely.
So that's why they left the name out.
Say something to that point, Sister Yagina. I know everyone is talking about the name, and I'm not knocking that, but when you first made that statement that the Gentiles can only teach you what they know, that hit me. That even in they're sincerely teaching you wrong. They're sincerely only teaching you what they know because they do not know the attributes, the ways, the judgments of Yah yet. That is powerful because they are teaching you. Forget the name. I'm not saying like forget the name like it has no significance, but just forget the name part. Just who he is. They can't teach that because they don't know him.
They don't know him.
No. Wow, that resonated with me.
You know, it's like having a mistress. It has your husband, and your husband has been seeing this woman, and then you go to the mistress and ask the mistress about your husband. No woman does that. She goes straight to her husband. Tell me about you. I need to understand what's wrong. Where did we mess up at? What is it that we need to try to fix? And the Most High said, they can't show you about me, and that's why I put you with them, because you was more concerned about what they was doing than trying to love on me. So now have at it. Go serve their gods. And that's what we got. And if you pull up, ooh, girl, you know you done tapped into something.
And when they say you can do whatever, they really think you can.
You can. They really do. They really do.
Because they can. They don't know our God.
They don't know him. They don't know him.
That hit me. Wow.
The world don't even serve him because the world don't even know him. Because if they did, we wouldn't be doing half of the stuff that we. That's why the scripture says for the Gentile, they're going to eventually say, our fathers have inherited lies.
That is correct. It says, you only have I known.
That's it.
You only have I known. I have not dealt with any other nation. Simple.
That's why you get Pentecostal and apostolic and non-denominations and all Baptist churches and all the stuff that you get, because guess what? They learned it from the Gentile. They went to, my uncle told me, I went to seminary school. You're not going to tell me. Yeah, but guess who teaching you? The people that don't know him.
Catholic Church.
The people that don't know him is the ones who set up the school in this captivity.
Mm-hmm.
They can only teach you what they know. That's why now it's time that's why the Most High is doing this right now. Hello, my people, wake up.
Hallelujah.
We snapping out of it like, whoa, wait a minute, somebody just called me. He said, my sheep know my voice, and another they will not follow. And it's like, what's going on? And then he's deprogramming us to reprogram us to get to know him. And guess who's teaching us? Like you said, the Word and the Holy Spirit is coming in. Let me show you who Yah is. Let me show you what he's about. Let me show you what you did. Let me show you where you could have been if you hadn't messed up. But the beautiful part about it is it ain't over yet, because he's got an exit strategy for you. So I got to show you the whole picture so you can appreciate where you're going and where you are now. So that's why I say you can't get mad at them because they hate us. He made them hate us so that we would go through this penalty phase just like he said we would. Powerful stuff. This is in the Word. You can walk through this Word and find it. So guess what? If they're not there yet and they still want to call on Jesus, let them. If they comfortable with that, let them. I'm talking about Israel, because it's a matter of evolving. They're going to continue to grow, because the more we think we know, the less we know at all. The more we think we got this thing down pat, he'll throw a little nugget in there. It's like, look at that right there. You be like, I'd have read that 1,000 times. That word is powerful. It's rich.
Hallelujah.
And, of course, they're going to try to come up with something new. I can't wait. I've been waiting on the new Bible, because it's going to come out. And they're going to try to add a little bit more here and there. And believe you me, it's going to be corrupt. I'm sticking with the old one that we got.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the penalty phase. Made to serve other gods. Here we go. Watch. Where did this happen at? Watch what he said. Ezekiel chapter 12. Now we get into the prophets. Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 9. He said, Son of man, has not the house of Israel, the rebellious house, said unto thee, what doest thou? Say thou unto them, thus saith the Most High Elohim, this burden concerneth the prince in Jerusalem and all the house of Israel that are among them, saying, I am your sign, like as I have done so shall it be done unto them. They shall remove and go into captivity. And the prince that is among them shall bear upon his shoulder in the twilight and shall go forth. They shall dig through the wall to carry out thereby. He shall cover his face, that he see not the ground with his eyes. My net also will I spread upon him, and he shall be taken in my snare, and I will bring him into Babylon, to the land of the Chaldeans, yet he shall not see it, though he shall die there. Now, he's talking about Babylon. He said, and I will scatter toward every wind all that are about him to help him, and all his bands, and I will draw out the sword after them. And they shall know that I am the Most High, when I shall scatter them among the nations, and disperse them in the countries. But I will leave a few men of them from the sword, from the swamp famine, and from the pestilence, that they may declare all their abominations among the heathens, whether they come, and they shall know that I am the Most High. We're going through the prophets, so bear with me. We're going to walk through it, and then I'm going to open up the line. Ezekiel 22, verse 14. He said, can thou endure, or can thy hand be strong in the days that I shall deal with thee? I, the Most High, have spoken it and will do it. And I will scatter thee among the heathens, and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee. And thou shalt take thy inheritance in thyself, in the sight of the heathen, and thou shalt know that I am the Most High. Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, Ask ye now among the heathens, who has heard such thing? The Virgin of Israel hath done a very horrible thing. Will a man leave the snow of Lebanon, which cometh from the rock of the field? Or shall the cold flowing water that come from another be forsaken? Because my people have forgotten me. They have burned incense to vanity. They have caused them to stumble in their ways from the ancient paths, to walk in paths in a way not cast up, to make their land desolate and a perpetual hissing. Everyone that passed thereby shall be astonished and wag their head. I will scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I will show them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. Then said they, come and let us devise against Jeremiah, for the law shall not perish from the priest. They was going to kill him. Nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us smite him with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Now Jeremiah getting ready to pray to the Most High. Watch what he say to the Most High. Give heed to me, O Yah, O Yisrael, and hearken to the voice. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. And hearken to the voice of them that contend with me. No, hold on a minute. I'm sorry about that. Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have digged a pit for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them and to turn away thy wrath. Jeremiah was like, do you know they're trying to kill me? And I was the one that stood up for them. Watch what he said. He said, therefore deliver up their children to the famine and pour out their blood by the force of the sword, and let their wives be bereaved of their children, and be widowed, and let their men be put to death. Let the young men be slain by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses, when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have digged a pit to take me, and hid a snare for my feet. Yet Israel, thou knowest all their counsel against me to slay me. Forgive not their iniquities, neither blot out their sin from thy sight, but let them be overthrown before thee. Deal thus with them in the time of thine anger. He said, get them. I'm through with them all. Because all I was doing what you told me to do. And as a result, they trying to kill me. He said, wipe them out and be finished. Hold on. Here's another prophet, Zachariah chapter 7. Watch what it says, verse 8. It says, and the word of the Most High came unto Zachariah, saying, thus speaketh the Most High of hosts, saying, execute true judgment and show mercy and compassion to every man to his brother. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ear that they should not hear. Now they holding their fingers in their ears. Yea, they made their heart as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law, and the words which the Most High of hosts, has sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from the Most High of hosts. Therefore it comes to pass that as he cried, and they would not hear, so they cried, and I would not hear, saith the Most High of hosts. He says, so every time your prophet cried out and you didn't want to hear him, and you put your finger in your ear, when you cried out, I didn't hear you either. We go. But I scattered them with the whirlwind among all nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, and that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate. All right, here we go with Ezekiel. We're almost done. Again, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel holy are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from the Most High. Unto us is the land given in possession. Therefore say, thus saith the Most High Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathens, and although I have scattered them among the countries, he said, yet will I be unto them a little sanctuary in the countries whereby they shall come. Any questions? Most High said, even though I put you here, my compassion to you is I'm gonna give you a little help. That's how we're able to buy cars, and that's how we're able to buy houses, and that's how you're able to have credit cards, and that's why you're able to live normal, but you're still in captivity.
That's how we go to jail. That's how we go to jail and don't be killed.
Absolutely.
That's why we haven't been annihilated completely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What was the last scripture? It was in Ezekiel what?
Ezekiel, let me go back. I think it's Ezekiel chapter 11. Hold on just a minute. I'll go back to it. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 14.
14 through 16.
Where did you stop at?
I stopped at Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. 14 through 16.
Through 16.
And got one more, and we're almost finished. And then we're going to open up the lines and let you guys talk about this if you want. And these are the other gods. So you know he put us in captivity. He scattered us. And we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, and we're still scattered. We have never been collected. We're still in these lands. We're living in these lands, and we're all over the world in these countries. I had a guy that worked with me from Russia, and I had the nerve to ask him the dumbest question. I said, is it black people in Russia? He laughed at me. He said, I have been asked many things, whether we wear deodorant or whether we do this. No one has ever asked me, is there black people in Russia? He told me, no, they're not allowed. And he started laughing. He said, of course we have black people in Russia. I'm like, wow. All right, here we go. Anybody have any questions on that, what we read?
Yeah, we never know that they're black people in Russia because they sure don't show them.
They don't never show them. They there. Yeah, they there.
They have a
They're all over the world.
Now they show them how to put that language together. They have his house and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You said in Zechariah 7:14, it said that he scattered them with a whirlwind, and it says the land is desolate. Is it still desolate today, even though
somebody
the Jews are there?
Is it a part of the land that's desolate? Absolutely. Nothing grows on it. They can't grow nothing on it. Won't no food grow on it or nothing. It's just dirt.
Okay. All right.
All right, here we go. Other gods. Now, this is the kicker right here. This is the last part. Deuteronomy chapter 28. I cannot leave this out because this is one of the most important scriptures that pertain to us as a people. And someone please put your phone on mute so we can... 36. Now, let me tell you how this chapter goes. From 1 to 15, he says, if you do these things, you will be blessed. You know, and Fred Hammond wrote the song, we blessed in the city, we blessed in the field, and we blessed when we come and when we go. He wrote that. But he forgot about from 16 on down. He said, but if you don't, this is what's going to happen to you. Well, we already read the scriptures where Israel didn't. And they rebelled against Yah. They started in Egypt, they continued it in the wilderness, and then they continued it when they got into the land. So now he's getting ready to tell you what's going to happen to you as a result of you not being obedient. Deuteronomy 28:36. It says, the Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods of wood and stone. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little secret. That the royal house of King David, is in America. Some of us.
Absolutely.
Some of us are scattered into different countries. But we all went into captivity together. The royal house of King David is in America.
Absolutely.
We came here together, and we will be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. Watch. And thou shalt become an astonishment a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Most High shall lead thee. That's when we become niggers and coons and pork monkeys and whatever else they call us. Whatever they call us, that's what we are. Watch. Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. There's no other nation on the earth that has had a large slave transaction where their children, their sons and their daughters, have been sold. Especially the people that are in the land right now. That's the one thing they will not answer. If you are the people, when did they sell your sons and your daughters? When did the Germans sell your children? Here we go.
Right. They're trying
42.
To say that we sold ourselves, you know.
Please, who want to sell themselves?
Yeah.
Don't that sound crazy?
It does. Crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, it does. And they try to blame everything on us, like we did it to ourselves.
Well, we did in a way. That's true. We did in a way.
But not literally sold ourselves. Like, I'm for sale. Not like that. Like they be trying to put it.
Right.
Well, and they also try to say the scripture that says, and no one shall buy you. They try to say that that no one bought them.
That's true.
Thank you. There is.
That's very true. Absolutely true.
We want purpose.
Watch this. He says, all thy trees and the fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. Shall the locust consume. Watch. Thy stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come very low. Everything we buy, we buying it from somewhere else. From our hair products, everything.
Yeah.
Everything sold in China. The Chinese people, Japanese people selling all the stuff. Everything we get. We eating food from the different restaurants. I went yesterday night before the sun went down to try to get me something to eat before the sun went down, because I knew I wasn't going to make it home in time to cook. And I rode up to the restaurant and asked the lady, I said, can I have 8 pieces of chicken, please? And I said, I can't have a side because most of your stuff is cooked with pork. She said, ma'am, now this over the speaker. She said, ma'am, I hate to inform you, but our chicken is cooked in pork grease too. I said, well, I guess that's the end of that, you know.
Yeah.
For real.
Chicken.
She did. She said, our chicken is cooked in pork grease too. She said, we use the same grease for everything.
Mm. And that's the truth.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we really do know that. That's why I don't like it.
Everything you need is cooked in the
I'm serious. I said, well, doggone it, I guess I'm going to be eating bean sprouts and something tomorrow when the sun goes. Lord have mercy. I mean, for real, everything we do is contaminated because these people don't know Yah.
That is correct.
They don't. All right, watch. He said, he shall lend unto thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Israel was never supposed to be the tail. We were never supposed to be on the bottom. Now we the creditor. We the debtor.
Mm-hmm.
I just read earlier to you where he said, you shall be high above every nation. Watch. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Because, why? Hold on just a minute. Let me go back here. Because thou hearken not unto the voice of the Most High, thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. They never preach that in the church that some of y'all go to. They never tell you that those new churches that's waking up, that there's a reason why we was put into captivity, because we wouldn't keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. They still telling you you're not supposed to keep the law, and that is not true. And I'm telling you that. Watch. He said 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Most High thy Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. 48, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee.
Yeah.
March 49. And the Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through that right now, aren't we? We're going through that right now. They'll shoot an old person in the street like they'll shoot a young person in the street.
Yep. It's going to get worse.
You better believe it. He said, moreover, he shall bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. I'm almost finished. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Most High bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Most High thy Elohim. And it shall come to pass that as the Most High rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you, so the Most High will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there, watch it now, here we go. He said, and there, where you were scattered, there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So where will we be serving these gods at? Right here in the land of our captivity.
Absolutely.
And where do we learn these religions at? We learn them right here in the land of our captivity.
Absolutely.
And who taught us these religions? The people that don't know Yah.
Absolutely.
They taught us the religions, and they included their gods, and we're serving other gods of wood and of stone. Watch.
They'll shove a Jesus down your throat just as quick. That's
Watch.
God.
He said, in among 65, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have. You know how tired I am? I be like, man, I come home every day like I be glad when this mess is over. You know? He said, but the Most High shall give thee a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. I was in the car with my granddaughter yesterday, and we was behind it was about 5 boys. It was 2 in the front and 3 in the back. And the music was blasting, and they was just bobbing and the dancing and the jigabooing and the doing. They was dancing so hard the car was bouncing up and down. And they pulled up to the light to a black man that was sitting beside him, and he rolled his window down. And he said to them, you are a prime suspect for the police to pull you over. Cut it out. And they looked at him like they were scared to death. He like, knock it off. I know what he was saying. He pointed his finger at him and tell him, knock it off. They was bouncing so hard, that little car was bouncing up and down. They was dancing so hard.
He was telling them right. You understand?
According
suspect.
Of course, you better say that again. According to this right here, this is driving while black. and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. Watch. In the morning thou shalt say, would Israel it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would Israel it were morning. For the fear of thy heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy thee, which means no man shall save thee.
Absolutely.
Any questions at all whatsoever?
Well, sister, you know, when it talks about bondmen and bondwomen, one of the rules about that is that your uncle, your father, somebody could buy you out of that captivity, out of that bondage. You understand? When you're bondwomen and bondmen, but they never allowed that to happen. They took advantage of the fact that they have free labor. You understand? You know, and here we are. You know, when we was taken out of when we was taken from the coast of Africa,